We're in a somewhat ridiculous situation where Steph, Giannis, and LeBron are no longer eligible for end-of-season awards, and Jokić, Booker, Evan Mobley, Kawhi, Wembanyama, and Deni Avdija are also very close to missing out on end-of-season awards if they miss a few more games, all because of the high number of injuries in the league. So what can be done to reduce them? One option is to extend the season at the expense of summer break, the off-season. When the game schedule is compressed and recovery times are shortened, we see a significant increase in the number of injuries. In a study on the 2020 bubble season, we see 48.2 injuries per 1,000 minutes of play, and if we exclude COVID cases, it's 40. This is compared to the injury rate examined in the 2015 to 2018 seasons, with 28.2 injuries per 1,000 game appearances. In other words, in an unusually condensed season, there is a 42% increase in the number of injuries compared to a regular season. So even though the 2020 season was very unusual, we know that compressing games leads to a significant rise in the injury rate. Ultimately, extending the season will come at the expense of a shorter off-season, and that will be harmful. The summer break is a critical time for treating minor injuries, rehabilitation, working on weaknesses, and rebuilding for most players, so that would be off the table. The second option we'll discuss is reducing only the number of back-to-back games. But first of all, it's important to understand that the NBA has made significant efforts in recent years to reduce back-to-back games because they know they're dangerous. However, when it comes to injuries, the situation is a bit more complicated. On one hand, there is direct research that showed that 3 seasons of back-to-back games did not by themselves result in a significant increase in injury rates. But on the other hand, if you combine back-to-back games with travel, that already dangerously raises the injury rate. Additionally, there are statistical models that show that not participating in back-to-back games reduces the risk of injury by 16%. The practical conclusion is that reducing back-to-back games is excellent, but if this isn't done together with reducing flights, it won't be significant enough. By the way, studies show that back-to-back games also have a considerable impact on field goal percentages, which further indicates accumulated fatigue in these games. We've reached the third and final option, which is also the cleanest from a physiological standpoint, and that's simply to reduce the number of games in the season. This way we'll get more rest days, and it won't come at the expense of the off-season. We know from research that a packed season increases the injury rate, and back-to-back games increase the injury rate as well. And this solution of shortening the league and reducing the number of games simply solves both of these problems. It's impossible to conduct such a study, but logically this is the best way to protect the player's health. But when it comes to reducing the number of games, an economic aspect comes into play here that is much bigger than this whole issue, and it's probably one we won't be able to overcome. In summary, what's preferable? The reasonable solution is to extend the season and shorten the off-season. One very good solution would be to significantly reduce or perhaps even completely eliminate those back-to-back games. And the perfect, though admittedly quite unrealistic solution is simply to reduce the total number of games played in a season. Good luck with that.